What do you do, baby? It's Triple DS. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. For today's video, it's going to be an NFL one, and it is from the YouTube channel Barry McCockiner. I hope I'm saying that right. I've watched Barry's videos here and there. Like pretty entertaining. He ranks a lot of things like, you know, best QBs, draft busts, best pick from every draft class, things like that. Today, he has ranked the top 15 running backs in NFL history, and I'm curious to know how his list stacks up. I just want to see who he has ranked amongst the best of the best. So with that being said, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let's just get right into it and let's see what my boy Barry has in store for us.
Like anything, it's subjective, and all of these guys were great. So don't get your panties in a bunch if you disagree.
I will get my panties in a bunch.
Earl Campbell. Campbell just barely makes this list due to his incredible first three seasons where he led the NFL in rushing yards 3 times and rushing touchdowns twice, including winning MVP in 1979. Campbell is also legendary for his physical and bruising style of play. This made him awesome to watch, but also shortened his career, as he only played 8 years, with his last 5 seasons alternating between merely good and completely forgettable. He also provided next to nothing as a receiver. Although
his first few years are really what, you know, drove it home.
When talking about peak performance, he's right up there with any running back ever. Number 14, Darrell
Davis. So he's here because of his first 3 years.
Performance, that's exactly why Darrell Davis makes this list despite appearing in just 78 career games. He broke the 1,000-yard mark as a rookie, then went on a 3-year tear from 1996 to 1998 that ranks among the best stretches any running back has ever had. He made 3
I feel like he's getting all like the good careers but short careers out the way. I feel like he's not on this list though if he doesn't get these 2 Super Bowls.
Running back of all time. In 8 playoff games, he averaged an astounding 142.5 yards per game while winning 2 rings and a Super Bowl MVP. Of course, despite all of this, it's hard to rank him any higher due to his extremely short career.
Yeah, he only played for like 6 years, 7 years, right?
And Mike Shanahan's zone blocking scheme once he left. Number 13, Adrian James.
I feel like Adrian James was very, very underrated because during his time, I feel like they didn't win Super Bowls. So I feel like his career is underrated, but if you look at his stats, he's a beast.
2 more 1,500-yard seasons in 2004 and 2005 before leaving to play in Arizona. He was a shell of himself in Arizona, but he still finished his amazing Hall of Fame career with over 12,000 yards rushing and 3,300 yards receiving. He's certainly benefited from
I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough. That's just my opinion.
He might not get as much respect in all-time discussions as he should, but Edge was a true complete back when he was at his best. Number 12, Tony Dorsett. Dorsett is another great
I'm not feeling Tony.
Dominant season other top running backs have had. Another could be that he was never given as many carries consistently as some other all-time great running backs. And also, Emmitt Smith's success with Dallas has made Smith, not Dorsett, the running back people think about when they think of the Cowboys. Dorsett was just incredibly consistent.
Yeah, I mean, but still, you can have multiple great running backs.
13,000 rushing yards and over 16,000 yards from scrimmage. The only thing really holding him back from being higher on this list is his penchant for fumbling and the aforementioned lack of dominance.
Really? How many did he fumble?
Number 11,
Thurman Thomas. I want to go back real quick. How many fumbles did he have? My boy, he had 90 fumbles. Damn, that is actually a lot when you think about it. In an 11-year career, you're averaging about, like 8-9 fumbles a year. And that's considering the fact that he wasn't really running the ball that much the last 3 years of his career.
Thurman Thomas has one of the most overlooked peak stretches of any running back ever. From 1989 to 1992, he led the league.
I feel like I don't really think about Thurman Thomas as all-time great running back, but he is, but I don't think about it.
Before Marshall Falk. His versatility in pass catching out of the backfield was a major part of Buffalo's run of success in the early 90s with their infamous K-gun offense. Of course, we all know Buffalo lost 4 straight Super Bowls, but Thomas's performance in Super Bowl 25 would have gotten him Super Bowl MVP if not for Scott Norwood missing wide right. Thomas's efficiency fell off.
He probably could have been higher if they had won at least one of those Super Bowls.
He was as good as any running back in the league for almost half a decade, and that counts for something.
It is kind of sad, like the first 5 greatest running backs of all time only had a peak of about 3-4 years. And this is why you don't pay running backs. Like they have a great impact immediately or a few years in, but then usually they fall off rather quickly. So it does suck for running backs, man. It's hard to see like guys like Emmitt Smith, who played for so many years, AP, Frank Gore. Like, these guys are very rare. Like, you would rarely see a running back go past 34. Just look at Todd Gurley, who played maybe a 3-year stretch of the best running back that anyone could ever have. And within 2 years after that, he was out of the league. Like, the running backs fall off, and it's crazy to me. Like, this list already shows that. And I just want to give a shout out and appreciation to those running backs that, you know, are grinding in and out. Pause. And, yeah. Just wanted to show some appreciation, y'all.
Martin was the definition of consistency. He ran for over 1,000
I remember the only thing I know about Curtis Martin,
four times,
that he was a great running back, but he had no interest really in playing the NFL other than it paid well. And he was open about that.
His best seasons actually came in his late 20s and early 30s, whereas most running backs peak in their early to mid 20s. He led the league in rushing yards and was named first team All-Pro at age 31. He was also a capable, not elite pass catcher out of the backfield. He was remarkably durable too, missing just 8 games in 11 seasons. Martin wasn't a particularly flashy runner.
For a running back, only missing 8 games in 11 years?
His consistency combined with good longevity for a running back requires him to be heavily considered as a top 10 running back ever, in my opinion. Number 9, O.J. Simpson. By far the classiest running back on this list, and there's not even a close second. O.J.'s post-football
I feel like, again, if it weren't for his off-the-field issues, I bet money that he's not at number 9. He's probably in the top 5 easy.
What he's done off the field. With that said, this massive piece of shit was unquestionably one of the best running backs ever. He got off to a slow start, but he hit his stride in year 4. He was named first team All-Pro 5 straight years, leading the league in rushing yards 4 times and rushing touchdowns twice. He had his famous 2,000-yard season in 14 games in 1973 when he won MVP, but his 1975 season might have been even better, as he piled up more yards from scrimmage and more touchdowns. But all of this feels so hollow and meaningless now. Let's move on to other great running backs who haven't, never mind. I don't want to get sued. Number 8, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith is not the best running back of all time, but he might have had the best career of any running back ever. He finished as the all-time rushing leader.
I guess it's not based on career.
Touchdown leader. He won 3 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl MVP, and a league MVP.
It's the eye test I think he's given with.
4 first-team All-Pros.
And if that's the case, I think I know who I have number 1.
Touchdowns 3 times. So why is he not ranked higher? Well, supporting cast matters. Smith was blessed with arguably the best offensive line in NFL history to run behind for most of his career.
See, Barry, you kind of lost me a little bit there because I'm a firm believer of you just play with the hand that you're dealt. And I understand. And maybe Emmitt had one of the better offensive line, better receivers. But at the end of the day, all-time leading rusher is all-time leading rusher. I think at least Emmitt Smith deserves top 5. Let's see who else you got in there, but I don't know. I'm going to disagree with this one for now. Let me know what you guys think. Do you feel Emmitt Smith is a top 5 running back? I think he does belong there. Doesn't seem like Barry does. But I just want to point that out there. You can only play the hand given to you, and Emmitt Smith took it and ran with it. Not his fault. But that's just me. Let's just carry on. Let's see.
To be clear, I believe Emmitt had the ability to succeed in any situation, but he lucked out big time in this regard. He was nothing special as a receiver, and he wasn't a flashy runner, but he excelled at avoiding big hits, and his longevity at the position was special. Number 7, Adrian Peterson. Legendary child respecter Adrian Peterson is arguably the best pure runner of all time. He was an absolute nightmare to try and tackle.
When I watched him as a kid, he was intimidating as fudge.
He broke the single-game rushing yard mark as a rookie in 2007. He ended up leading the league in rushing yards 3 times.
I remember that 297 yards, I think.
4 first-team All-Pro nods. His crowning achievement, however, was in 2012 when he won league MVP, running for almost 2,100 yards for a Vikings team that had no quarterback. He was a real throwback to previous eras where the running back was the focus as opposed to the passing game. Peterson can match up to anybody when it comes to running, but he falls short in the other areas. He was never a good pass catcher, and despite his physical gifts, he was terrible in pass protection. He also dealt with fumbling issues most of his career.
Fumbling issues 49 compared to what's his name, 90?
Marshall Falk. Falk is arguably the best all-around running back of all time and certainly has a great argument as the best receiving back ever, as he racked up almost 7,000 yards receiving and 36 receiving touchdowns in his career. He finished his Hall of Fame career
maybe it's controversial.
19,000 yards from
I put Emmitt Smith over Marshall Falk.
3 first-team All-Pros and won MVP in 2000 while being a key piece of the greatest show on turf Rams. He won a Super Bowl in 1999.
I mean, he does have the accolades, but
3 straight years from 1999 to 2001. Oh yeah, he also wasn't bad at, running the ball. He finished his career with over 12,000 rushing yards and 100 rushing touchdowns. Falk's skill set would have translated to any era, and surprisingly enough, he managed to be one of the most exciting running backs ever, despite not being particularly
unsure about
athletic.
AP though.
Number 5, Eric Dickerson. Dickerson was kind of like the 1980s version of Adrian
I don't know.
Peterson.
I'd take Adrian Peterson over Dickerson. I think I'd still put Emmitt over Dickerson.
First team All-Pro 5
and
times.
I don't know. Dickerson maybe is in the top 10. I don't think he deserves to be this high.
Dickerson's weaknesses were also similar to Peterson's. He wasn't much of a pass catcher or a blocker, and he fumbled a lot, but he was such a gifted runner you could forgive the flaws. He still owns the single-season rushing yards mark he set in 1984, but he fell off fast after turning 30. However, his first 5 years are arguably the most dominant 5-year stretch any running back has ever had this side of Jim Brown or O.J. Simpson. Plus, he gets bonus points for his his goggles. God, they make me so funny. Moving on, number 4 with Thurman Thomas. LT was hyped up as...
Maybe controversial. I think I might take AP over LT. What would you guys do? What would y'all do, AB or LT?
Tackles, and he was unstoppable around the goal line. He was an all-time great pass catcher out of the backfield, and he was fearless in pass protection. He was very similar to his idol Walter Payton. He ended up making 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro teams, and 1 MVP in 2006.
I remember he broke the rushing record for touchdowns.
31 touchdowns. He finished his stellar career with 162 total touchdowns. He also threw 7 more touchdowns for good measure. I wouldn't argue with anybody who says he's the GOAT. Number 3, Jim Brown. Without Jim Brown is the best running back of all time. He played just 9 years, but his level of dominance was so extreme it almost doesn't matter. He led the league in rushing yards 8 times, rushing touchdowns 5 times, and yards from scrimmage 6 times. He won 3 MVPs and was named first-team All-Pro 8 times. Simply put, no other running back has ever displayed this type of dominance. So why isn't he number 1? Well, for several reasons. There is a bit of a Wilt Chamberlain factor when it comes to Brown's stats. He was by far the best athlete of his time, and it's fair to wonder if he would have been as dominant in later eras. It's also worth noting that once he retired, his backup Leroy Kelly stepped in and was immediately an All-Pro, pointing to how much support Brown had. Still,
again,
there's no denying he's a legendary caliber play.
I'm gonna disagree there.
Barry Sanders, by far the most exciting runner of all time. No running back has ever had more swagger with the ball in their hands than Barry Sanders, which is ironic considering his boring personality. Sanders was an elite running back from the moment he entered the NFL in 1989 to the moment he left it in 1998 at just the age of 30. He made the Pro Bowl every season of his career and 6 first-team All-Pros. His peak
I understand why Sanders may not be number 1
yards and shared co-MVP
because of the longevity.
He ran behind offensive lines that were at best average for most of his career. Sanders' biggest flaw was his tendency to try and turn every run into a touchdown, which could cause him to lose yards, but he would more than make up for it with his good plays. He wasn't a great receiver or in pass protection, but no running back in NFL history has ever instilled more fear into opposing defenses than Sanders. Number 1, Walter Payton. Sweetness gets my nod as the best running back of all time due to his complete skill set. He had excellent longevity for a running back while also maintaining a high level of performance for over a decade. He finished his career with 9 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pro selections, and won the 1977 MVP. He was also the best offensive player on the legendary Super Bowl-winning 1985 Bears. He ran for almost 17,000 yards while being an excellent pass catcher and amazing pass protector. But what makes Payton's career so impressive was that he accomplished all he did while being the sole focus of opposing defenses. He played with terrible quarterbacks for most of his career and produced all-pro caliber numbers regardless.
For the most part, there's not too much I'm debating against. Honestly, like he was saying in the beginning, these are all-time greats. Like, they're all great for in their own way. So to be honest, like, even if mine's different, which it is, it's nitpicking. They're all absolutely fantastic. Would I have Walter Payton at number 1 though? No. I'd probably have Jim Brown at number 1. So I'd actually have Walter Payton at number 3 in my opinion. So actually, let me start this over. Let me give you my top 5. This would be my top 5. We can discuss it in the comments if you'd like. But at number 5, I'd have Emmitt Smith. Number 4, I'm going to give it to LT over Adrian Peterson. I know what I said in the video, but after taking some time to think about it, as dominant as both were, I would give the edge to LT career-wise, even though I think Adrian Peterson is the stronger runner amongst the two. At number 3, I will give it to Sweetness Walter Payton. Number 2, Barry Sanders, the most electrifying runner in the NFL, pretty much all time. And number 1 would probably be Jim Brown. And honestly, there was no one like him in his era. If you put him in the 80s and 2000s, I really do believe he would still be pretty damn good. That's just me. And look, I'm a Bengals fan. I have nothing to gain from talking up of Cleveland Brown. You know what I mean? So that's my list. Let me know what you guys think. Who has a better list between me and Barry? What would you guys have as your top 3, top 5? Let me know in the comments below. But that's gonna do it, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If this is your first time on the channel, feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on. The road to 900 continues. Boy!